listeners, our guest on Just Talking is director Tony Rammos and professional bull rider Little Ricky to discuss their award-winning documentary, Ride Till I Die, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. How's it going, Little Ricky? I can see you right now, and I know Tony's coming on into the mix.
Yay!
How are y'all?
Hey, we're doing way good. I know the weather feels great in Southern California. I believe you guys are in Florida right now as we speak.
Yes,
is
sir.
Earth Day treating you guys just as right?
Yes, sir. It feels pretty good. Pretty windy.
Actually, I'm in Toronto, Chris.
Oh, you in Toronto.
Right, so you're freezing and you have good weather and we have good weather.
It's not that bad.
Tony be in his
say.
own realm.
No.
Hey, but before we begin, that's the beauty about the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. We are a video on-air production, so let's do our due diligence. Let's go ahead and show the CCS family what's good by playing the teaser of Ride Till I Die right now. So if you got it, Marissa. I'm telling you, fam, with that teaser alone, it is just intense throughout the whole documentary film. And Little Ricky, I got to start it off with you first because, you know, when I look at the slow-mo shots of all the bull riding, my nutsacks hurt, okay? Do you have balls of steel?
You just pretty much try not to think about it. I mean, the fear is always there. You just got to shove it out.
You got, well, what do you mean by shove it out? Your balls don't technically just get to shove it out.
I mean, it's just something you got to get by. It's just something I guess you learn at a young age, you know.
Hey, Ricky, if you don't know, Chris has soft, like really soft balls.
Wait, that sounds
He
so
wouldn't be
strange,
able
Marissa.
to handle it. He doesn't have man balls.
You cannot just go live on air and start spewing all that nonsense, Marissa. While me and Little Ricky are trying to have a legitimate conversation about bull
balls.
No, about bull riding. Because, you know, Little Ricky, I was watching one of Tucker Carlson's original, and he was talking about testicle tanning, okay? I don't know if you heard about this, but what's more painful, testicle tanning or bull riding?
I would say testicle tanning. I don't know. That seems pretty rough. I don't know what that is.
I think that is such a fair, legitimate answer. And I think you nailed it right on the top of the show. But hey, listen, for anybody who has never, I just had to say that was on my mind. It was just so weird how both of us just happened to line up, and it was your Friday that we got you on, Little Ricky. But just,
Chris, if you guys are going to talk about balls and testicles, can I hop out for a couple of minutes?
oh, trust me, Tony, we're gonna.
Hey, Tony, if I'm stuck in here, you're stuck in here, homie. Okay.
All right. It's not what I signed up for, but it's okay.
But hey, you know, for anybody who's only ran or rode a mechanical bull and has never ridden on a live 2,000-pound bull, what's that feeling like? Can you describe that to the CCS family?
I mean, a mechanical bull is a whole lot different. You know, it's a lot slipperier. I'll tell you that. There's a lot more grip on a real bull. It's a lot different. I mean, your mindset's whole different. You get on a mechanical bull, you already know it's not real, you know? You get on a real bull, you fall off, you better get up.
You better get up, yeah, or you're going to get bucked real quick. And I know that your father, Ricky Ringer, throughout the documentary, he kept saying that time slows down when he rides that bull. I have a hard time believing that. Do you feel the same way as your father?
I mean, it slows down, but it's still fast. It's still really fast. I mean, it happens like that, but it seems like a lifetime. I mean,
do you hear the horn after the 8 seconds when you're riding? I've always wondered that. Like, do you actually hear it, or are you just so zoned in you don't know if you really made the 8 seconds or not?
No, you do hear the horn a lot of times. A lot of time too, as you like get on a lot, you'll kind of know too. You got to get this instinct where you know when you've ridden them long enough. Normally hear the horn.
Yeah, it was important to me to get the POV of the rider, so we did strap a GoPro on Ricky on one of his rides. And if you see that shot where it's very shaky, and I've had people tell me, "Oh, that shot's really shaky. It's kind of nauseating." But I'm like, "Yeah, but that's what they see." And I asked Ricky, we talked about, "Is that pretty much what you see?" And Little Rick's like, Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's like your brain's like a little dice, and it's getting rattled up in the brain. That's practically what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to show to the viewer. I'm like, this is their point of view. So you find it nauseating. Just imagine being on a bull.
Absolutely, Tony. And while you get into yourself, I know you strapped the camera onto the bull, but you're not riding the bull, Tony. So how did you get into the mix?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I knew nothing about bull riding. I watched a PBR here in Toronto one time, and I just got interested and intrigued. And I've always wanted to do my own film. And for some reason, I'm like, there's got to be a rodeo in Florida. So obviously I looked it up and I found one. And I just went from there. I was just intrigued. It sucked me in. I'm like, these guys must have a story. And Ricky fell into my lap. And Ricky's story is phenomenal. He's a great person. A lot of people, they rooted for him. He's a real person, right?
And that's for listeners. That's you're talking about Ricky Ringer Senior, right?
Senior, yeah.
Junior, we have on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had Senior as a main character, and then Junior following in his footsteps. So it came together as a great story. And I just love the behind the scenes footage that we shot at the rodeos. I thought it was great.
Okay. So I just, I'm a total fan. So I do watch bull riding. I've seen your father, Ricky, riding bulls throughout the years. And then when I actually sat and watched the documentary, I loved the behind the scenes, all the stuff that me as a spectator, especially because I watch it on, on television, don't get to see. And I loved it. So just pass on that I'm a fan.
Absolutely not.
I'm not doing it.
But hey, Tony, because it was my understanding that you've been in the whole film industry for quite a while now, and I noticed you've been working kind of a lot of behind the scenes. But you decided with Ride Till I Die that you wanted to direct and produce it. And for anyone who doesn't understand the gruesome task of doing a documentary film, I mean, how many hours of footage did you have to look over? Because this seemed like it was a 5-year span to make this film happen. I mean, could you explain that with the CCS family?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, because it was my own project and I had no deadlines, I took my time. Plus, I was on other projects. Sometimes I took a couple months off the project altogether. So it's not like this was my only project and I had a deadline. So, but with that being said, because I decided to edit it on my own because I just didn't have the pay an editor, it was long and gruesome. And it's just, there's so many hours of footage. I couldn't even tell you how many hours exactly we had, but just to go through all of it and then do the selects and pick your shots and then put them on a timeline and then you're just flipping and flopping. Like the timeline, the edit changed so many times, obviously, right? And then finally when it's like, hey, this story seems like it's progressing, it came along naturally, but it did take some time. I couldn't even tell you how many hours of footage we had or how long.
Well, I mean, people need to realize, and I'll give you guys a visual representation for all the party people that are listening in with little Ricky and Tony. When you see an external hard drive that a director like Tony Rammos has been using, you would think that that's a MacBook Air. That's how large these freaking things are. These things are large memory blocks and all the kind of backup data that you got to go through. And when you are a film director, Tony, you kind of execute and you oversee the creative vision of the film. And when you're recording, let's say the good, the bad, the ugly, because there are some gruesome shots in there, I would feel kind of nauseated standing next to little Ricky and Ricky Ringer themselves doing what they do best. How do you approach this fly on the wall aspect?
Well, it's funny because I didn't really have a game plan going in. We just went to the rodeo and we're like, okay, let's just shoot it. And the first night went horribly wrong. We did basically nothing. The second night, we're like, okay, we're a little bit better. But once we got to our second location in West Palm, I had a game plan set. And that's why the first half of the movie, most of it's from West Palm Beach. The behind the scenes stuff, it was 3 days of rodeos. And that's when we got most of the stuff. And I got the hang of it of here's what I need. Here's who I need to mic. Here's who we have to follow. So it's to say that it was thoroughly planned out, that's totally a lie.
Well, I think that's kind of the beauty of the mix. But your film is so elegantly edited and directed. So shout out to you, Tommy, because I think
yes. Did you do the musical scoring also?
Yeah, well, actually, my DOP, Edward Ryan.
Wow.
About that, I want original music, but again, I can't afford to pay an artist. And he said, I have a friend, David, who's a folk singer. He's got some music. You want to hear it? And I thought, folk singer for a rodeo, like that's just ridiculous.
Right.
We're on our way to Inverness to shoot with Ricky in 2017, and I popped the CD into the car, and right away the first song is the main theme that you hear in the film.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really well done. When people watch it, the music, it sets the tone, makes the emotions. Like I was like having hyperventilating on certain parts. I wanted to cry. I was like, oh, so well done.
Yeah, and when I heard that song, Chris, right away I said, hey man, this is the opening. And right away I could visualize the opening scene back in 2017. And then I listened to more songs and I went to Ryan and I said, can I talk to David? Because I want to use his music, but is he okay to loan it kind of thing? Because again, the payment's not there. This is a very small budget. And when I said, Tony, go at it. And there was 8 songs I chose and a couple of them were cool. Some of the words played along too with what Ricky's emotions were feeling. And I just thought, well, it was perfect because everyone expects, rodeo, cowboy, Western music,
Right.
I was like,
thank God for no Blake Shelton.
No, I went the exact opposite. Yeah, I think Marissa, like you said, I think the folk song played nicely to his emotions.
Yeah.
It just was the exact opposite of what you expect from a rough and tough cowboy. So I think we've gotten plenty of compliments about the music, and I've always thanked David, and I'll see if I still thank him to this day.
Oh, it's so killer, Tony. And you know what, little Ricky, let me get you on into the mix because, people like myself who ended up watching Ride Till I Die, watch cowboys like yourself and think you guys are totally freaking insane. And why would you even want to follow in your father's footsteps to be tossed around like a rag doll? Tell me where your mind process was at.
I mean, I really don't know. Dad didn't want me doing it at first, I guess, because I remember this time he made me get on about 15 head of calves one day, trying to kill me off and trying to make me not want
make you not want the pain.
This sounds like an American Habib story.
When I want to do it the next day, it's just, I don't know. I've had big injuries. I've broken ribs and everything. It's just,
okay, I'm going to talk about broken ribs real fast. I just popped out my first rib last week and I died. I just popped it out, let alone broke it and kept riding. How do you keep going with a broken rib? That's all I want to know. So I'm dying.
You just go through it,
Yeah, come on. Don't be such a pussy,
It becomes your job.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, you sound like such a wuss.
Hey, first off, I'm way tougher than Chris. So if I'm in pain, he'd be in the hospital.
I got balls to steal, okay?
We're not talking about your balls again, Chris.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Thank you, Tony. I need you to moderate the show. Yeah. Thank you.
But like little Ricky, we've all seen, Jackass with Johnny Knoxville get flipped by the bull. Not once, but twice, but 3 times, but 4 times. You remind me of like an American Habib. Like we all know, seen Habib in the UFC when he used to wrestle a bear. You're jumping on calves thinking that that's your prodigy step to start riding a 2,000-pound bull. So with that being said, we've already heard that Marissa's kind of a wuss, but I want to know from you, little Ricky, what's the most gruesome injury you've ever experienced in this sport?
Me, I mean, I'm only lucky. I've only had a few, luckily,
What does a few mean? I feel you're being very sarcastic with that response.
Less than 10. But
yeah, exactly. I've never broken a bone, CCS family. I've never broken a bone once. And he's saying, just a few, 10.
But I guess my worst one was probably when I was 14, 15. I got on a practice bull after finals, and he was a little bit too rank for my caliber then, and he stepped on me and broke my ribs and collapsed my lung. And at the time, I broke my shoulder.
You just said something. But you just said practice bull. What the hell does a practice bull mean compared to a professional bull? Is it 500 pounds less? I mean,
same thing. It's just you're not getting on for no money.
It's entertainment. I know that in that part of the movie, you're like, oh, this is our entertainment. He's just gonna ride a bull for fun. Yeah. I was like, yes.
You're not getting paid. You're just doing it to learn and everything.
How awesome is that?
Right.
Awesome.
But there's a moment that Tony captured in the film that I thought was so great. I mean, you boys were talking about with your father about what it means to be riding Gumpy. What does that necessarily mean, and how much upper body strength do you need to be able to go on a bull? Because I'm sure there are people going to be looking at you, little Ricky, going, oh, come on, I can do this. I'm so yoked out. I got all my beautiful IG photos, in the gym. I can make this happen. Explain to the listening audience how much strength you got to do to be able to ride a bull for over 8 seconds.
I mean, you do need strength, don't get me wrong, but it's not all about strength. A lot of it comes from balance. I mean, it depends on your riding style, I mean, you do need strength. That's your riding style. I mean, if your riding style ain't strength, you can be really weak,
Do you need forearm strength?
Yes, a lot of forearm strength.
So, Chris, you'll be fine because you use forearm all the time.
Oh, hell yeah. My left hand, that grip. Woo-wee. But hey, Tony, I know, Tony, you're shaking your head, but Tony,
out of here.
No, Tony, no, now we're throwing it back to you. Did you ever get the chance to say, hey, listen, little Ricky Ringer, I've seen you guys for a while now. I kind of want to use my upper body strength. I want to ride the bull. Did you ever test your skills?
No, I'm not stupid. And I remember Ricky kept bugging me. He's like, we got to get Tony on the bull. And I always said, you see this pretty face? Not getting on the bull.
Yeah, you see, he's got, you
disappoint me, Tony. I thought for sure you'd have a couple, Coors Light in you and just jump on that bull.
Coors Light. It'll take about 35 Coors Light for me to get to that level.
If you drink 35 Coors Lights, that's how you become a cowboy. Almost. Yeah. Almost there. But little Ricky, it's my understanding that you're not currently bull riding as we speak. Why the sudden switch up?
I mean, I don't know. I've just been bills and life's been catching up,
Is it this pandemic that's kind of kicked you in the tush a little bit?
I mean, kind of, yeah, and everything's going up in prices, It's getting hard to going up and down the road.
And explain that go ahead, little Ricky.
Not winning, when you're going up and down the road, you got to be winning. If you're falling off and stuff, that money has to come from somewhere. People don't just give you money.
So, little Ricky, here's some words of advice. Get a sugar mama. All right, that's going to pay for all your bills, and it's going to allow you to go ride those bulls. Okay,
sounds like Marissa's kind of at the top.
No, he does have a good seat. I watched you in the film. Like, you have it. You have a natural talent for it. I think you should keep pursuing it.
I know I need to. I'm not done with it for sure. I'm just taking a break.
Okay, because you just kind of got to exactly what I was thinking about, because I know Tony documented this so well in the film, but he was talking to your father, Ricky Ringer, and he kept saying, I don't know if this is it, and then all of a sudden he changes his mind. I don't believe by talking to you right now, little Ricky, that this is your last hurrah. So when the opportunity comes knocking, are you going to be taking the ride?
Oh yeah, 100%. I got on last month. At a local rodeo. It's just an itch you can't help but scratch. You got to scratch it. Even Dad, in the movie, he says he's done. He still gets on.
No, Ricky's not retired. Who are we kidding? Right?
Yeah.
I expect to see Ricky next year at PBR. I expect it. I do.
For anybody, because I sort of kind of skipped on it a little bit, but I kind of want to get in the minds of a bull riding star. Like, when you're doing these bull riding events, it doesn't seem like it's just like local. It's only not statewide. You got to kind of branch out what it seems like majority of the East and the Midwest on a level. I mean, are you going like state by state monthly? How does that work, these events?
When I turned 18, I started going out of state and everything. That's kind of how you got to do it when you are being a pro bull rider. You can't stay in Florida and make it. You gotta leave. You gotta go out west where the bull riders
is that you in those pictures behind there?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I love it.
He's so damn polite. Look, you know what, little Ricky? You might have a sugar mama at the end.
I know. Hey, you keep saying yes, ma'am, honey. I might have to fly you out to L.A.
All the ladies here that are tuning in live, I mean, little Ricky, who knows? He might keep you on the roster. But
hey, if he can ride a bull, he can ride a woman. Woo! You know what I'm saying?
Damn, Marissa, we like that. Ooh, damn. I never even thought of it about like that. I might have to start pursuing some bull riding as we speak. I can't thank you guys enough for joining us for Just Talking on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. Tony, let the people know what's good. Where can they check out this film, Ride Till I Die?
Yeah, it's available on demand. You can see it, Apple TV, iTunes, Prime, Vudu. Also, broadcast providers, Comcast, Spectrum, Cox. All the info is on the website, ridetilliddiefilm.com. Just go on the website on the main page, list all the providers.
That is so freaking kick-ass. I love it, guys. It's award-winning documentary for a reason. Ride Till I Die, out now. Check it out. Guys, thank you again for joining the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show.